The gym is electric, filled with the roar of cheering fans as the final moments of the high school basketball championship unfold. The bleachers are packed, the atmosphere tense. The game is neck and neck, but despite the rising stakes, one player remains glued to the bench. Darius, a 17-year-old black basketball prodigy, grips a towel in his lap, eyes fixed on the court. He's the best player on the team, a star in the making, yet he hasn't played a single minute of the game. Sweat drips down his face, his frustration building with every missed shot and every poor pass made by his teammates. He can feel the fire inside him, but it's locked away, hidden behind the coach's stubbornness. Coach Reynolds, a middle-aged white man, paces the sideline with an air of authority, barking orders at the players. Coach Reynolds, "Come on, you bunch of amateurs. Move the ball, don't just stand there." Assistant coach, "Coach, we need Darius in. We're down by 12. He could turn this around." Coach Reynolds scoffs and waves him off. Coach Reynolds, "No. He's not ready for this level. He's got the talent, but he doesn't have the mindset. He's a risk." The assistant coach shakes his head, frustrated. Darius's teammates look over at him, their faces a mix of guilt and disbelief. They know what he's capable of. They've seen it in practice, and they've seen it in the games leading up to this one. But the coach won't put him in, no matter how badly they need him. Darius's eyes never leave the court, but his jaw tightens. He wants to prove everyone wrong. He wants to show the world that he's more than just someone who gets benched for no reason. He's a leader, and he knows it. In the stands, his mother, Ms. Carter, sits with her arms crossed, a look of quiet fury on her face. She's been here for every practice, every game, cheering her son on. And now, to see him ignored when it matters the most, it breaks her heart. Mom, muttering under her breath, "Why isn't he playing?" Her voice is barely audible over the din of the crowd, but it's filled with frustration and disbelief. She knows what her son is capable of. Why doesn't Coach Reynolds see it? The game continues, and the score ticks higher against Darius's team. As time slips away, the pressure mounts, and the crowd grows more anxious. The coach paces back and forth, oblivious to the growing tension. The assistant coach steps back, shaking his head. And Darius, still on the bench, knows this is his moment, and it's slipping away. The gym is filled with the relentless roar of the crowd, but the excitement is no longer there. Instead, there's a sense of desperation hanging in the air. The scoreboard flashes an unforgiving number. Darius's team is down by 18, and with each passing second, the game slips further from their grasp. The opposing team is on fire, every shot landing with perfect precision. The players on the court look exhausted, their movements sluggish. The point guard dribbles the ball, but is immediately double-teamed, losing the ball to the other side. Another turnover, another missed opportunity. The fans groan collectively as the opposing team races down the court, slamming another basket home. The crowd watches in stunned silence, murmurs of disbelief filling the air. The coach, Coach Reynolds, stands at the sideline, his face scrunched in frustration. He yells at his players, but his voice lacks the urgency it should have. The team is falling apart, and nothing he says or does seems to help. As the game continues to spiral out of control, the players on the bench exchange glances, their frustration building. Point guard pleading, "Coach, seriously, put Darius in." The bench is quiet for a moment. It's not just the point guard anymore. There's an unspoken agreement between all of them. Everyone knows the team needs Darius. They know that he can change the game, but for some reason, Coach Reynolds refuses to see it. Coach Reynolds shakes his head dismissively. Coach Reynolds, gritting his teeth, "We're not taking chances. This game is too important." Darius hears the words clearly, and the sting of them hits hard. He's worked tirelessly for this moment, pushing through every practice, every game, and every setback. And yet, here he is, sitting on the bench, helpless. The fire inside him burns hotter with every missed shot, every turnover, He knows he can turn this around. He knows he can be the one to make the difference. But Coach Reynolds doesn't believe in him, not enough to give him the chance. The timeout buzzer rings, and the team huddles together on the court. The crowd groans, some fans even beginning to boo, the discontent unmistakable. The players look to Coach Reynolds, but his stern face doesn't change. The game is slipping away from them, and there's no one to blame but themselves. But the truth is clear to everyone on the bench. If they want any chance at winning, they need Darius in the game. From the stands, Jamal's mom, Ms. Carter, stands up, her voice carrying over the noise of the crowd. Mom, shouting, "Put my son in the game!" Her voice cuts through the tension in the arena like a knife. The crowd quiets for a moment, all eyes turning toward her. But Coach Reynolds ignores her. He doesn't even glance her way, too wrapped up in his own frustration. But the pressure is building. The murmurs of discontent are growing louder, and people start to notice. Ms. Carter stands there, her face red with anger, her hands clenched tightly. The team on the court looks over at the bench. They're tired, exhausted, in fact. But they know what needs to happen. They know they need Darius to change the game. The buzzer sounds again, and the team lines up for the next play, still down by 18. But this time, when the ball is passed to the point guard, the look on his face has changed. He's not passing it to the coach for instructions. He's looking at Darius on the bench, point guard, to Coach Reynolds. "Coach, we need him." The game's over without him. Coach Reynolds hesitates, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. He's made his choice to leave Darius on the bench for so long, but now, with the game slipping away, the pressure mounts. The arena is silent, all eyes on him. Ms. Carter continues to stand, her gaze unwavering. She knows what's at stake. She knows her son is more than capable, and she's tired of watching him be ignored. In the silence, Jamal finally stands up, his hand on his hip, his eyes locked on Coach Reynolds. Mom, shouting, "This is your chance to make things right, Coach. Put him in the game." The coach turns to face the bench, his frustration giving way to resignation. He knows what the right move is. Everyone else does too. It's just a matter of whether or not he'll admit it. Coach Reynolds, muttering, "All right, fine. Darius, you're up." The crowd erupts as Jamal finally stands, taking a step toward the court. His teammates cheer, their excitement palpable. Jamal's time has come, and it's clear to everyone that they're about to see something special. As he steps onto the court, the team's energy shifts. The momentum changes. Even the opposing players feel the weight of Darius's presence on the court. The game is about to be flipped on its head. The third quarter is in full swing, and the team is down by 25 points. The crowd is restless, murmurs filling the gym as the game slips further out of reach. The players on the court are tired, frustrated, their energy drained. The scoreboard feels like a constant reminder of their failure. The assistant coach leans in toward Coach Reynolds, a determined look on his face. The decision is clear now. Assistant coach, urgently, "Coach, we have nothing to lose. Just put him in." Coach Reynolds exhales sharply, clearly annoyed, but there's a flicker of doubt in his eyes. The team is losing, and he can't deny that Darius is the key. He's always known it, deep down. Coach Reynolds, grumbling, "Fine. Carter, you're in. Don't screw this up." Darius doesn't flinch. He's been waiting for this moment his entire life. With a nod, he steps onto the court, and the energy in the gym immediately shifts. The crowd, once murmuring in discontent, now watches with bated breath. The underdog is finally getting his chance. The first play is a blur. Darius gets the ball, his eyes locked on the defender in front of him. He knows exactly what to do. With a sudden, smooth crossover, he leaves the defender stumbling. The crowd collectively gasps. Announcer, excitedly, "Oh!" He just broke that defender's ankles. The gym erupts in disbelief and excitement. The opposing players look on in shock as Darius moves with lightning speed, effortlessly taking control of the game. The defender looks lost, hands flailing, trying to recover. But Darius is already past him, dribbling the ball up the court. The momentum is completely shifted. Darius pulls up at the top of the arc, his eyes locked on the basket. He lets the ball fly in one smooth motion. The shot sails through the air, high and true, before swishing through the net. Crowd, screaming in unison. Oh! The gym shakes with excitement as the crowd goes wild. For the first time in the game, there's hope. The energy in the air is electric. Even the other team is stunned, their players visibly rattled by Darius's unexpected entrance into the game. Opposing player, whispering to his teammate, "Where has this guy been all game?" His teammate looks equally stunned, unable to comprehend how one player can change the entire flow of the game. Darius doesn't stop there. With every possession, he commands the ball, making plays that leave defenders scrambling. A steal here, a quick pass there, and before long, he's hit another three-pointer, followed by an assist that leads to an easy dunk. The team's performance skyrockets with Darius on the floor, and the once insurmountable lead begins to shrink. The crowd is on their feet, chanting, cheering. It's as if they've woken up from a bad dream. The game is alive again. Coach Reynolds, who had been reluctant to put Darius in, is now pacing the sideline, his face a mix of disbelief and admiration. He watches as his team, inspired by Darius's play, begins to rally. Assistant coach, grinning, "Looks like you were right all along." Coach Reynolds doesn't answer. He's too focused on the court, watching as Darius pulls off another slick move, faking a defender before finishing with a beautiful layup. The scoreboard is slowly but surely ticking back in their favor. The gym is rocking. The fans can't believe what they're seeing. Darius, the player who had been left on the bench for most of the game, is now the one leading the charge. His speed, precision, and natural talent are undeniable. Every time Darius touches the ball, something magical happens. The crowd holds its breath as he drives, shoots, and scores. The gap between the teams shrinks, and with each passing second, the impossible seems more and more likely. As the final moments of the third quarter wind down, Darius's team is only down by 10. The other team, once riding high on their lead, is now visibly rattled, scrambling to keep up. The atmosphere in the gym is tense, filled with anticipation. The crowd knows something big is about to happen, and when the buzzer sounds to end the third quarter, the game has transformed from a blowout into a nail-biting contest. Darius jogs back to the bench, wiping sweat from his brow, his eyes burning with determination. His teammates surround him, patting him on the back, all of them energized by his presence. Teammate, "Man, you're incredible. We've got this." Darius smiles, his confidence unwavering. He knows they've still got work to do, but he also knows this game is far from over, and with him on the court, there's no telling what they can accomplish. The fourth quarter is about to begin, and the crowd can feel it. A championship is within reach. Thanks to Darius, the underdog story is just beginning to unfold. Darius is on fire. He's no longer just playing. He's dominating. In the blink of an eye, he steals the ball from an opposing player, his instincts taking over. His eyes lock onto the basket as he pushes the ball down the court with lightning speed. A defender rushes toward him, but Darius dodges him effortlessly, leaping into the air and slamming the ball through the hoop with a thunderous dunk. The crowd erupts in disbelief and excitement. Fans are on their feet, cheering as Darius soars above the rim. Phones are out, recording every moment, and social media is blowing up with excitement. Hashtags like Darius, the Great, and Our Game Changer trend instantly. In the stands, his mom jumps up, her face filled with pride. She screams at the top of her lungs. Mom, screaming, "That's my baby!" Darius smiles to himself as he jogs back to his position. The energy in the gym is unlike anything he's ever felt. He's not just playing for the win anymore. He's playing for respect. The once doubting crowd is now fully behind him, roaring with every play. Coach Reynolds stands at the sideline, watching in stunned silence. He's been pacing the entire game, shouting instructions and hoping his team could pull something together. But as Darius racks up 20 points in just 5 minutes, the realization hits him like a ton of bricks. He's watching the MVP he refused to put on the court. Assistant coach, smirking. Not ready, huh? Coach Reynolds doesn't respond, his face flushed with the weight of his own decision. He'd been so sure that Darius wasn't the right choice that he couldn't handle the pressure. But in this moment, Darius is proving every doubt wrong. With only 10 seconds left on the clock, the game is close. They're down by just 1 point, and the entire arena is holding its breath. The opposing team scrambles, but they know it's not over. Darius calls for the ball, his teammates immediately making way for him. Teammate yelling, "You got this, D." The ball is passed to Darius. He dribbles, feeling the weight of the moment. The defender closes in on him, but he's calm. He steps back, creating a little space. The buzzer sounds in the background, counting down the final seconds of the game. With a swift motion, Darius pulls up for a deep three-pointer, the ball soaring through the air as the buzzer rings out. Time seems to slow down. The crowd watches in silence, waiting for the result. Swish! The ball lands perfectly in the basket. Announcer yelling with excitement, "He hits it! Game over!" The gym explodes with joy. Fans rush the court, crowding around Darius, lifting him up in the air. The underdog has done the impossible. He's led his team to victory, and in the process, he's shut down every doubt that ever existed. Coach Reynolds stands frozen at the sideline, his mouth agape. He just benched the MVP. The weight of his decision crashes down on him as the team celebrates. He can't believe he almost let this moment slip away. Darius is the hero of the game. The crowd chants his name, and all the past humiliations and doubts fade into the background. He has earned this moment, and the entire gym knows it. That night, the clip of Darius's game-winning shot goes viral. It spreads across social media, gaining thousands of shares and retweets. NBA players tweet their congratulations, calling the shot one of the most impressive moments they've seen in high school basketball. Scouts from top colleges take immediate notice, and soon Darius is trending. The next day at school, everything has changed. As Darius walks down the hall, students part ways for him. They look at him with newfound respect, some even approaching to ask for autographs or selfies. The once dismissive classmates who called him names now want to be his friend. Even the bullies, the same ones who mocked him for his shoes and his quiet demeanor, suddenly start trying to get on his good side. Chase, nervously, "Hey man, that was amazing last night. You want to hang out sometime?" Darius smirks, giving a polite nod, but he doesn't engage. He's not interested in their newfound admiration. It's too little, too late. Coach Reynolds approaches him in the hallway, looking a little awkward but sincere. He stands there for a moment before speaking. Coach Reynolds, awkwardly, "Hey, great job out there, son. I'm sorry I didn't give you a shot earlier." Darius looks him dead in the eye, a small smirk creeping onto his face. Darius, smirking, "Guess I was ready after all, huh?" Coach Reynolds nods, his face turning a little red as he walks away, realizing the weight of his earlier mistake. Darius, however, walks on with his head held high. He's proved everything he needed to prove. When Darius walks into his house that evening, he finds his mom waiting for him. She's sitting at the kitchen table, holding an envelope in her hands. She smiles as he enters, but her eyes are glistening with emotion. "Mom," tearing up, "Darius, look at this." She hands him the envelope. Darius's hands tremble slightly as he opens it, his heart racing. Inside is a letter from Duke University, a full-ride scholarship offer, with his name at the top. Mom, smiling through her tears. "They want you, Darius. A full scholarship to play basketball at Duke." Darius stands there for a moment, staring at the letter. The realization hits him like a wave. His dream is now a reality. The long hours of practice, the struggles, and even the humiliations were all worth it. This is his moment. Darius, smiling, holding back tears. I did it, Mom. I really did it. His mom stands up and pulls him into a tight hug, both of them overwhelmed with emotion. This is more than just a scholarship. This is proof that perseverance pays off. Darius's dream is no longer just a distant hope. It's his future. Final scene. As Darius sits down at the table, the letter in his hands, he looks out the window at the street. The city is bustling, but for him, everything feels different now. He's not just the kid who was benched. He's a future star, a living testament to the power of believing in yourself, even when others don't. He turns back to his mom, grinning from ear to ear. Darius, we made it. His mom smiles, wiping a tear from her eye. For the first time, everything feels possible. As Jaden leaves the science fair, surrounded by reporters and excited students asking him questions about his invention, he notices Logan awkwardly stepping forward, shifting from foot to foot. Logan, nervously, "Hey, so, we were just messing around, man." Chad, trying to mask his discomfort, forces a laugh. Chad, "Yeah, bro. No hard feelings, right?" Jaden pauses for a moment, eyeing both of them. The crowd around him continues to buzz with admiration, but Jaden doesn't seem fazed. He turns to face the bullies, his expression calm but direct. "Jaden, I don't hold grudges, but next time, try listening before you laugh." With that, Jaden turns and walks off, his confidence radiating as the reporters continue to follow him, eager to ask more questions about his groundbreaking invention. He doesn't need to prove anything more. He's already won. The bullies stand there, red-faced and embarrassed, completely ignored by the crowd. Logan and Chad exchange uncomfortable glances as they watch Jaden's triumphant departure. Their laughter has turned to silence, their attempts at salvaging the situation only serving to highlight how far they were from understanding Jaden's potential. Final scene. Later that evening, Jaden sits in his room, his laptop open in front of him. His inbox is flooded with emails, offers from top universities, tech companies, and investors, all eager to work with him. The reality of his success is sinking in, and it's all because he didn't let the mockery stop him. He smiles to himself, scrolling through the messages with excitement. His future is now wide open, filled with endless possibilities. A text pops up on his phone from Maya, his one true friend who had always believed in him. Maya's text, "Told you they'd regret it." Jaden laughs softly, shaking his head. Maya was right. He'd turned the tables on his bullies, and now they were the ones left with nothing to say. Jaden, smiling to himself, "Yeah, they did." The camera zooms out as Jaden sits back, looking at the glowing screen in front of him, the weight of the world now on his side. From being laughed at and underestimated, Jaden has gone on to change the world, proving that talent and hard work always speak louder than mockery.